Hi, everybody. I just want to remind you guys to go out to Amazon and get my book entitled Reflections of My Heart Secrets. So this is a book of original short stories and poems. So don't forget to go out there and purchase it. And also, I just want to remind you guys that this book is to encourage and to inspire everyone and to let us know, don't let our age scare us or discourage us from accomplishing our goals. Hi, everybody, and welcome. I'm Visible Lady of Faith, and this is...
Hey, you know who I am. That's my wife.
And today we're going to talk about a plea for deliverance, which is a Sunday school lesson for Sunday, October the 13th, 2024.
And we're still talking about David.
And this lesson is taken from Psalm 22, verses 1 through 11. A plea for deliverance. A plea is a humble request for help. So in this lesson, David was asking for help. The writers in the Sunday school book weren't sure what he was asking help for, but whatever he was asking help for, he wanted to be delivered from delivered from his enemies. And I'm not sure who his enemies were.
Oh, David had all kind of enemies, because you remember David's a warrior.
Oh, yeah,
in neighboring countries, and then also you'll find in the Sunday school lesson as you read it, even his enemies were mocking him.
Right, making
fun of him. He said, "Well, hey,
probably bullying him."
The interesting part about King David, he's a human being. He makes his mistakes. We talked about it last week.
That word.
Yeah. I don't know why she's so gay. Because say listen there. But anyway, what's really fascinating about King David, but he made his mistakes. He let his desire, as far as Bathsheba, and he went off to some wars that he shouldn't have. God didn't give him permission to go to war, but he was King David because he was known as a warrior. And he also had a conversation with God, talking about building a temple for him. And God said, you got a lot of blood on your hands, so no. So King David, I love King David because, he allowed his fleshly body take advantage of him, through temptation and
he let his fleshly body do what?
Temptation.
He yielded to temptation.
Yeah, as a grandson had said when he was sitting, he says, he was lusting after Bathsheba. I said, yeah, he definitely did that. And then he tried to cover it up.
Okay, so backing up a little bit, when I first opened my Sunday school book to read this lesson, and I just looked at the title, A Plea for Deliverance, I thought about today. I said, there's so many things going on in the world, not just politically, but wartime and famine and poverty and stuff.
Yep.
So
homelessness,
yes, and people spreading misinformation or disinformation or lies and hate. So we need deliverance from all that stuff.
Yes.
Yes, that's what I thought about when I saw that plea for deliverance.
We should be treating people with respect, being patient with people, self-control. Yes, being honest with it, honorable with integrity. If we can't do that, then what's your point? Well, I refuse to put any man, even myself or anyone, on a pedestal and say, I'm close to God. I'm going to let God, that's God's business.
I'm closer to God than you are.
You are? Oh, good job.
Yes. Okay, so David was concerned about his enemies.
Yep.
And
mocking him.
And I don't know, why did they want to harm him?
Like I said, because it's different times. That it depends on in the moment where in his life. He could have been, dealing with an enemy, or he's in, there was at times that, he was in a region that God had to settle, that region, and it didn't require war. Mm-hmm. Because see, what we keep forgetting is this. When I discovered and read it many times, but Isaiah, the 19th chapter, in the very last verse, when he said the Egyptians was his people, his heritage was the Israelites, and the Amorites is God's hand. Now, setting those three nations aside, God has to deal with all the nations on the planet, all the other nations that whatever they worship, he built an environment where all of them can come and worship in this particular space. And it's also that's showing you the diversity of different beliefs there. But you also have another place where the temple that King Solomon, where this temple, anybody, it doesn't matter, Israel, anybody that so chooses, they can come and worship there. It's basically the same thing you see in the church. They got more non-denominational churches and things like that. That's what I'm talking about. Put it in light where you can understand it.
What have we done, or what do we do that's so great that God will rescue us from our struggles or challenges or whatever?
What do you mean you say?
Do we deserve to be rescued? And if we are rescued, how do we show gratitude and appreciation?
See, when you say something, I start going in the terms, I'm a father and you're a mother. We have 4 children, correct?
Right.
Okay, ask yourself this question. We're no different. I mean, God created Adam and Eve, created Adam in his image, and we know Eve, according to that, she was birthed out of the rib of Adam. That was his children, his creation. Now, I am a father, and I believe because I was raised, I had loving parents, so therefore that translated to me. So now, our kids, when they got into something really major and everything, was it a matter we were thinking, did they deserve it? Is that what we made our decision on? Or we did it because we loved them?
And we did it because we loved them.
Okay. And God is love.
God is love.
And
right.
His love is far greater than mine or yours or anybody else's. Okay. So why would he not? Okay. But I understand your point. That's the way David felt. I can relate to how David felt.
Yeah, we can relate to.
Yeah, because I feel that I'm shortcoming. Because in the lesson he says, "But I am a worm and not a man." Mm-hmm. He lowered himself. You can take, you say, well, if you look at that, you say, well, his confidence was going down the tube. We could say that, or he could be just humble and just turn around and say, I'm not that much to you, God.
But however he was feeling, he still did.
That's the way. That's how you feel. Because I can relate to that myself.
Yeah, we can relate to those feelings.
Because of
not being good enough, or feeling that whatever happens that we may have deserved it or caused it. Ourselves.
But see, that's why we need to learn to forgive ourselves and let things go.
Right, forgive ourselves.
Yeah. But we're hard on ourselves. I get it. That's what David was. He was, his attitude, he wanted to do the right thing. He wanted to do right by God. I feel like that. Right. And other people, maybe they think, well, a lot of people, because I hear this all the time, they operate, I fear God. Yes, I fear what God can do to me. I fear that, but He's a very loving God. Mm-hmm. I don't fear. I do not fear the kindness comes. How in the world can I fear the kindness that comes from God? Has been
and the love.
He has so much compassion for me since I was born on this planet and where I am now. And I'm looking back on the 73 years. I was very, very, very blessed. Was it all smooth sailing? No. Same thing with David.
Yes.
You have your ups and downs. David made his mistakes.
Right.
Because we talked about last week about his fleshly desire for Bathsheba and the process he went through until he lost the first son, and that's what God promised him. Mm-hmm. It shows that he's human. He makes mistakes, but still he keeps trying to be close to God. He tried to do right when he was wrong. It's stop now. And he starts to work on it, and that's where we should be.
Okay. And another thing I wanted to this final point is about David. The book referred to him as a psalmist, and he compared his suffering to Jesus' suffering. That Jesus probably felt rejection and anguish, and because when he was going to the cross and what he experienced on the cross. So David's, it said his whatever was unidentified, his struggle was unidentified, unknown. He was feeling the same way.
Yes, it's a feeling.
It's like a feeling and an emotion.
So it doesn't matter what causes the issue.
Right.
What matters is how he felt, and we can relate to that.
Right. We could, that's humanity of both situations. We can relate to how they must have felt.
Because all of us are not kings.
Right.
So we don't have the problems of a king. But here I am. I'm not going to use that because I don't like that term.
What term?
That I'm the king of my castle.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. But I am a loving and caring father, and I'm not a dictator person. You're going to do what I tell you to do.
I just wanted to compare David's struggle and how he felt about his struggles to how we feel going through our struggles.
It's not always something drastic has to happen.
Right.
It also could be a struggle that you're trying to make your bills, you're struggling with that. Or you're dealing with a child that seems like just not doing what you want them to do. And you're praying for them. And the thing is, with the child doesn't understand, the child thinks you're trying to control them, and you're not. You're not trying to control them. You just want the best in everything for them. And you would like to see those things happen. But as a parent, we got to allow our children to go ups and downs in life, but we're going to pray for them. So deliver them that, you want to see your kids to be successful. And we always put our sight on material things. But as long as they're happy, that's what's important.
That's the important thing, right.
That's the most important thing because, I had a
not
friend.
Not the accumulation of how much material possessions you have.
Because a friend of mine, when I was back in the 70s, he said if he can go to Jamaica and sell pencils and he can keep a roof over his head and food in his stomach, he said, I would be happy because he just didn't want the responsibility of all the other stuff.
I've heard that from, I heard people say that about homeless people. Some of them just don't want the responsibility of
they feel
paying
more
rent every day and working to pay all these bills and stuff. So they choose to be homeless.
And we should not be trying to push our values or how we see material things onto them.
Right.
That's their choice.
Right.
And don't think, oh, you're a failure because you're homeless. No, you should respect them. You should not say, well, you should get a job.
When we can.
Yeah, help when you can. And that'll get our skills being, we say, what would it say? God is bless a cheerful giver.
Yeah.
And if you're not cheerful, you should just keep it. Because you should be cheerful. You should want to do it. And not only that, you should want to do it with no strings attached.
Right.
None.
Because out of the goodness of our hearts.
Yeah, because, I'm still, people think that I'm passive because it's free will. That's what I believe. If they choose to go down a path, I'm going to tell them. It doesn't matter, who they are, because loving you, I'm going to tell whoever in the world, you're right, you're wrong. But if it's going to go into a confrontation between, one thing is, I'm not going to argue with a person that claims they're a Christian. I'm not going to sit there and argue with you. That's what you believe is fine. But I will build a wall and I will break it down and say, that's what you believe. And you keep going down your path. And this is what I believe. I'm going to go down mine. Okay? Now, but I'm not going to I don't want to bring conflict or nothing like that. But it's no way in the world that I have realized that you can make a person buy into your ideology the way you think. So I can only just share what I think from you. If you agree with it, fine. If you disagree with it, it's fine too. Right?
Okay, yes. So with that being said, we will bring this discussion to a close. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. So I just hope we said something to provoke thought. Okay, we'll see you guys next time.